Hello everybody, welcome, and I hope you're having a great day. I am Blizzard Raptor, and we are back with Assassin's Creed Revelations. Check out my new armour. This is the armour of Ishak Pasha, a legendary Turkish assassin from the Middle Ages, whose armour is dense and overlaid with special materials that can allow it to deflect projectiles. So this is the other armour set that I was telling you guys about before. This is the one that's going to hopefully make the end game a little easier. So with all my busy work for today done, I am going to head on and take you guys on the rest of the journey with me. I think we're getting fairly close to the end of this. And it is a game that I've enjoyed my time with. I'm glad I've given it a second chance, because the level of story that you get and the sort of time you get to spend with Ezio, and you really get to feel like he's the mentor, the legendary assassin. You know, I've taught some master assassins, you know, I've trained these guys, and I feel like going on those missions with them and giving them the benefit of Ezio's experience, it kind of helps you get to know Ezio better as a character, and you get more of a feel for him. I wonder if it will change to his robes.
Enjoying the poem?
Who are these men he condemned to hell?
Political opponents. Men who wronged him. Alighieri's quill cuts deeply, no?
See, it is a subtle way to seek revenge.
Dante Alighieri's have been reading the Divine Comedy.
Ezio, I plan to make a trip to Constantinople in a few weeks to visit a new printing press there.
That should be fun.
It is a 5 or 6 day ride from here, and I will need an escort.
Prego.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are a busy man.
Sophia, I would love to accompany you, but my time is running short.
That is true for all of us. Well, I can try to solve this last code now, but I need to run an errand before sundown. Can you wait a day?
What do you need?
It is silly, but a bouquet of fresh flowers. White tulips, specifically.
I can get you the flowers. Nessun problema.
Are you sure?
It will be a nice change of pace.
Bene. Meet me in the park east of Hagia Sophia, and we will trade. Flowers for information.
Aww. Ezio is kind of feeling the same pull that Altair felt after he had defeated Al-Mualim. Altair reformed the order to allow the assassins to have families, to fall in love, to do away with the commitment of cutting off the ring finger, to show that you're wholly committed to the assassins and their creed only, and that there's no distractions in your life. Altair reformed all that and said, no, we're not doing that, because we're human beings, and if we're going to allow people to have freedom of choice, then the assassins need to have the same freedom. Of course, people know it's dangerous. You know, you could die at any time, so it's your choice whether you have a family and bring them into that conflict, because once they're with you, they're part of the order as well. So they do... He does give them that choice, but Ezio's never given himself that luxury, probably because of what happened to his family, all getting wiped out.
You look like a man with money to spend. What do you need, Dostum?
Tulips, white, if you have them.
Ah, tulips. Forgive me, but I am fresh out. Something else, perhaps?
It is not my call, unfortunately.
All right, listen. I may know where to get fresh tulips. You wait here, and I will return. 1 hour, 2 at most.
I am not waiting an hour.
Uygun fiyatla krallara layık kalite. Fırsatı kaçırmayın. Şunlara bakın. Daha iyi fırsat bulamazsınız. Bulursanız yedirin bunları bana. Sorry. Forgot my money. Now that was a sorry-looking whore. Won't be selling her goods for a while. Even for you, that means.
So why did your parents not concede we cross so many times faults on patrol? See if they play? Sorry.
Açım, verebilecek biraz paramız var.
The war with Selim is no doubt but a minor annoyance to the sublime person. Hersekle Ahmed Pasha himself has declared Hamed of Uskadar the finest settler in all the empire. Come feel his leather and see his legendary craftsmanship in person. Your bottom won't regret it. The stewards of Byzantium are reportedly still active in the section.
Well, that's a bit anticlimactic because I was expecting to get caught nicking these or something, so it's a bit strange. I don't know why the guy was so secretive. Oh well. Anyway, let's drop off the flowers like we were asked. Whoops. It's my fault entirely, pal. I genuinely wasn't meaning to. Ooh.
What is this?
A gift. Sit. Che belli, grazie.
I only picked 3, she's
I
got
wanted
5.
to thank you for letting me play a small role in your adventure.
A small role is enough for this adventure, believe me.
You are a mystery, Ezio Auditore.
Mi dispiace. I do not mean to be.
It is fine. È affascinante.
Sembra squisito.
Why, thank you.
Any luck with the final code?
Ah, the code, see. I solved it many hours ago. You will get it soon enough.
Ooh, they're gonna have a nice picnic. You deserve it, Ezio. You've been through enough. That kind of makes some of his future decisions make sense. Having played through 3 games with Ezio now, it's quite poignant when his end comes, or the end of his part of the adventure. I think it would have been nice. Ubisoft have done a thing. If you've ever seen or played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I hope you all do one day, in Odyssey there is the option. There's the option to select and play through the game fully as a female assassin. So although in Syndicate you play as the brother and sister, they're called the Fry twins, Jacob and Evie Fry, and in Assassin's Creed Syndicate you play different bits of the game as the different siblings depending on what the mission calls for. In true sexist fashion, Jacob is the macho fighter, always wants to go gung-ho, wants to recruit a street gang and use them to take control of London, and his sister is the cautious thinker, stealthy, not quite the fighter he is, doesn't have his strength, etc. And I think gaming needs to move away from those kind of tropes. And to be fair to Ubisoft, they have, because when Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out, they very much made Cassandra, the female assassin you could select to play as, they made her a very tough warrior and a very tough woman in what would have been a male-dominated world. She's a very, very strong woman. She's got strong principles, she's intelligent, she's physically a demon. She's tough as nails, she's uncompromising, she has the same ruthlessness as any of her male compatriots. And she's the best all-round character I think I've seen in any of the series. She is my favourite character, my favourite assassin in the franchise. And she has, because of what they did with her character, they had her gain an artifact that gave her immortality. And the curse is that she has to preserve the artifact and look after it and keep it away from people. And will one of you please do something about this guy? Thank you. Right, back to my story. So yeah, they've gave her, they've made her a really important part of the franchise because of that immortality. She's obviously I don't know if it was intentional or if somebody at Ubisoft realised that if you give her that immortality and you give her that artifact, and there's a scene shown in the game where Cassandra meets a modern day assassin in what's supposed to be contemporary time. I think the Assassin's Creed franchise is always a few years ahead of us, So I think it's slightly later in the 2020s that she meets this modern female assassin. So it implies that Cassandra lives for thousands of years herself with this artifact that gives her immortality. So one of the cool things that they then decided to retcon in is that Cassandra was obviously active during all of these assassin periods that we've played through. She was watching her descendants and the people that inherited her quest to keep powerful first civilization artifacts out of the hands of people who would abuse them. It's not the Templars in her time, because the Templar Order didn't exist, but the Templar Order inherited the sort of desire for control that the Secret Order during Cassandra's ancient time had. So they included a little bit of Cassandra meeting another assassin in the franchise, Eivor from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But since Eivor's period is before Altair's, it's before Ezio's, it's before Connor's, it's before all of these assassins, I thought it would be really cool to sort of retcon in some little cutscenes or some little movies to show Cassandra watching and helping other assassins. I'm kind of hoping she features in Mirage in some way, because she is a fan favourite character. A lot of people like her. I like her, and it's not to diss the male protagonist version, Alexios. He's a pretty good character, but he just comes across like every other male character in the franchise. Cassandra is just so well written and so well voice acted as well, that she's immediately captured like fan favourite status, and I hope she pops up in more games because she is a brilliant character. And I know why Ezio doesn't pop up. Ezio obviously has a limited lifespan. We've seen Ezio doing all of his thing. At key points in history, Ezio has been, in 5 decades, Ezio's been at some of the sort of key crossroads in history. He's routed the Borgia twice and stopped them from gaining total control of Italy. He stopped Rodrigo Borgia from using the papacy to dominate Italy and then the world. And he's stopped Cesare Borgia from crowning himself King of Italy and then potentially, taking war to Europe. And he has also been in the Middle East here during the meeting of East and West, the meeting of Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy, all these conflicting ideologies, and it's really cool to see. I'm here for all of this. I enjoy it. I like the history, and it's always sad when you, as gamers, it's weird to say you form attachments to digital characters that aren't real, but the thing is, you invest yourself in these things. These things take hours. If you guys have watched the series, you'll know there's several hours worth of episodes here, and you spend so much time with a character and you see their life play out, and that's how writers know that they've done a good job. They've done brilliantly. And so it is going to be sad to say goodbye to Ezio. Obtain the Masayev key without falling into the water. Brilliant. So that looks like the assassin symbol. If you guys have been paying attention to all the latest Assassin's Creed news as well, you'll have noticed that there's a lot of talk about the future of the franchise. Mirage, the new Assassin's Creed game that's due out in October, is very much a return, they say, a return outside commentators say, to the old school Assassin's Creed formula, where it's like this, set in one city, in one place, and the story unfolds. So it's kind of what I think a lot of people now call small open world, what the original Assassin's Creed games are, because this is a small world that I can explore. There is a boundary on it, but there isn't a limit. You know, the story doesn't force me in a direction. It's not corridors. I can wander the streets as I please. I don't need to do the main story missions. So so Mirage is going to be like that. We're going to be a single protagonist back in a city trying to help whatever is happening in history to happen. But that's not the only future of the franchise. The games Odyssey, Origins and Valhalla take place at a time when it take place in an open world. So you have Origins is exactly what it sounds like. It's supposed to be the origin of the Assassin's Order. And Odyssey is a Greek Odyssey, which is a classical sort of term referring to like old Greek classics like the Odyssey and the Iliad. And then you've got Valhalla, which is set during the early Middle Age period when the Vikings, when the warriors from Norway were going Viking, which, because Viking wasn't a culture or a class or anything like that. Viking simply referred to warriors who were going on a voyage of plunder and loot to try and help their community grow and not sort of be, you know, to bring back something. And during this time, Eivor is actually not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's difficult to describe here. Eivor is not actually looking to go and plunder and bring the plunder back to Norway. Her Thane is looking to establish a permanent colony in England. And if you know your history, you'll know that there are a lot of Viking place names in the British Isle. York, Jorvik, there is a whole Viking centre down there. The Vikings were eventually stopped by Harold Saxon, who was king in the early 11th century, and he would eventually go on to lose the Battle of Hastings when Britain would be conquered again by the Norman knights, the knights coming over from France. So the Vikings were just part of a wave of incoming cultures that conquered the British Isles and left their mark, as the Romans had done before. And that's Eivor's time. So these games are all set in open world settings where you explore large parts of the countries that they're set in. Origins is a huge chunk of ancient Greece, which is my jam. I always wanted to be an archaeologist. I got my degree in history, but it started off as a joint degree in history and archaeology. And Assassin's Creed kind of meets two of my interests quite nicely. It meets my interest in history and it meets my passion for gaming. So I get to play these games and I get to see some of the history that I've studied, because these are authentic historical settings with real historical events taking place in the background. And all of this stuff happened, not as spectacularly as, you know, an assassin finding artifacts from the first civilization, but a lot of these things, you know, there really was a papal controversy during the time that Assassin's Creed 2 is set. The Borgia were one of the most powerful families in Italy and tried to use the papacy to seize control of Italy, and then Cesare Borgia, the son, tried to use military power to seize control of Italy, which were some of the richest city-states in the world at that time were in Italy, because that's where all the banking and the power of the Catholic Church and things like that were. So, you know, it's not like the Assassin's Creed games are wholly fictitious. There is an element of realism to them. It's simply that what Ubisoft do really well is they take a character and insert them into that history. And you meet real historical figures. You know, we've met Leonardo da Vinci. We've met Niccolo Machiavelli. We met Niccolo Copernica in Brotherhood. So these are real people that Ezio mostly interacts with, set against a fictitious backdrop of the Assassin v Templar conflict. And I like that. And we're going back a bit for this game that's coming out for Mirage. We're going back to a singular setting, you know, one city, one place, rather than a big part of Egypt, a big part of Greece, a big part of England. The other thing... Oh yeah, I'm on a time limit. I should just grab this. 2 seconds. The other thing, though, that's been interesting about the future of Assassin's Creed that's been discussed in the last sort of 6 months is that Ubisoft very much intend to run the franchise different ways. There will be adventures like Mirage and like these games that I've been playing so far that are set in single places in a sort of limited time span. There will also still be open world games, and I think the next sort of open world type Assassin's Creed game is set in Japan. I'm sure it's called Assassin's Creed Red. That's its like code name or something at the minute, but it's not actually got its full title yet, I don't think. There is also what looks like a horror game set in, my guess, and this is just from a trailer, this is a very, very loose guess, okay, because there hasn't been a lot of information released about it. I'm sure it's called Hex, Assassin's Creed HEX, and its trailer shows a much more moody and atmospheric setting. It's like a forest. It looks ominous, and then there's a sort of Wiccan or pagan representation of like branches wound together to form the assassin symbol. So my guess would be that it looks like it takes place in Europe during the height of the sort of witch panic when people thought witchcraft was rife and there was all this stress and burn-ins that eventually spread to the New World, to the colonies in America, and led to the Salem witch trials. But Scotland in particular was also pretty bad for that, because the king at the time, which I think was James, was a devout Catholic, and very much saw himself as a witch hunter, a servant of God. He was going to find all the witches and destroy them in God's name. So it would be quite good.
They say he screams in his sleep, calling out for his father.
Abbas, what a miserable man.
It is not our place to judge.
It certainly is. If our master has gone mad, I would like to know.
Shh. Good evening.
Water.
Of course. Sit.
Many thanks.
I know who that is.
What brings you here, old man?
Pity Abbas. Do not mock him. He has lived as an orphan for most of his life, shaped by his family's legacy. He is desperate for power, because he is powerless.
He is our mentor. And unlike Al-Mualim or Altair, he never betrayed us.
Nonsense. Altair was no traitor. He was driven out. Unjustly. Is it you? I heard rumors.
Still wearing his
but I
hidden
did not
blade.
believe them.
I wonder if I might speak to Abbas myself. It's been a long time.
Impossible. Abbas uses rogue Fedayeen to keep us from the castle.
Fewer than half the fighters here are true assassins.
So, where do I begin?
With us.
Altair's come back after 20 years of exile. So I've not to kill anyone except Abbas and his captains. Don't think I can.
You say these men are cruel. Has anyone raised his blade against an innocent?
But quickly let you read this. Altair ibn Lahad, born in the Holy Land in 1165. So where the Assassin's Creed series started and where it is just now is kind of a strange loop that hasn't closed. It starts in 1165, the 12th century, during the Crusading period, where Western countries were moving into the Middle East to reclaim, I put that in inverted commas and with heavy sort of, really, to reclaim the Holy Land from the invading Ottomans. Islamic, you know, the Ottomans are devout Islamic Muslims who follow their Quran, and they follow it very orthodoxly and in a brilliant way, I think, where it could actually, had the West not been so blinded by their religious fervour, I think East and Western religion and philosophy could have merged at this point. They could have meshed quite nicely. Each side could have had what they wanted. But anyway, so we start in the 12th century. Where the last Assassin's Creed game finished is before this, in the early, what we call the early Middle Ages, round about the 8th century or 9th century AD, when the Vikings are still going a Viking and raiding the British Isles, as well as other parts of Europe. You know, they didn't just raid the British Isles, but they've left a lot of their culture here. Orkney and Shetland in Scotland are a nice mixture of Celtic and Norse, or Celtic and Scandinavian cultures. I actually think that Scottish culture is closer to Scandinavian culture than, you know, I think our Celtic heritage has mixed so well with the Scandinavian that we're closer to the Scandinavians. But anyway, I'm getting caught up. So Assassin's Creed has started in the 12th century and come round to the through all these timelines and back to the 8th century. So if the next game jumps forward as much as I think it does, we are going to be just before... In fact, it doesn't. Mirage goes back a little bit. Yeah, Mirage makes it even more confusing, because Assassin's Creed Mirage, the upcoming game, is before Valhalla. So we've looked
Brutality
funny.
seems to be their sole joy.
Then they will die, for they have compromised the Order. But those who still live by the Creed must be spared.
You can trust in us. No. People say an old assassin saved the life of They say
So this is as fast as I can move.
or not. Say nothing.
Altair is old. I don't know. That's him. He's just stopped sprinting because he's tired. I don't know if he can climb. We're about to find out. At this point, Altair must be in his 50s or 60s. He can't climb. Right, okay, so I'm going to have to try and go around. Right, so Altair is old, right? You can see he's limping. Injuries have caught up with him. Old age has caught up with him. What he needs to do here is beyond belief, basically. He's going to take... he's got to take on his old order. You can see how things have fell apart. The village outside Masyaf looks like a trap hole. I don't know if these two guys are going to see me walking up to them. I can only walk up to them. I can't do anything else because I can't climb to get around them.
Clear out, old man. The usurper returns. Lie down, old man.
Well, I failed the thingy anyway, and I'm not getting any health back apparently, so...
Altair is here. In the village? Send word to the castle, quickly. Assassins! To me!
So, I can't run. Those noises are the noises Altair's making, having to haul his old backside up the mountain. I can run now, but this is as fast as I can run, so I might as well just walk. Altair definitely feels his age legs. I don't know if I can command assassins.
Mentor.
Welcome.
Shh. We do not want to get him killed.
Kill the traitors!
Oh,
Nothing without that artifact. Nothing!
it's the captain I want, so...
Pathetic miser. Stand down or die.
Follow me to the castle, and spill no blood if you can help it.
Oh, he's returned. So I should point out as well, since this has taken a while, Altair is responsible for a lot of the evolution in the assassin philosophy. So to begin with, they had a single hidden blade hidden on their left hand. They cut their ring finger off so that they couldn't get married or branded, or wear like the whatever it was that took the place of the ring on their finger to indicate that they were bonded to a person in like marriage. And Altair done away with all that. He came up with the double hidden blade and made out of a special metal that the Apple of Eden that he had taught him how to forge. So the blades would last for a long time and they would be unbreakable, but the alloys that went into the hidden blade were so rare that there's only a few. So a lot of the ones that you see characters using subsequently down the years
Decades have passed since we last saw you within these walls.
are inherited from like Altair's time.
We could use your wisdom. Now more than ever.
Come on then. Let's go kill a bass. Oof.
Kill him! Kill him now! What are you waiting for? You fools! He has bewitched you!
Our mentor has returned!
You notice none of them are attacking them.
For a bath! I fight for you. For the Order.
Whoops.
Welcome, Altair.
Welcome back, Mentor. Presence honored. You are home, sir.
Wow.
Betrayer! You die!
Always an honor.
Die!
Together for victory, Mentor.
Who else is gonna... Taking a couple of solid hits, and I've had to kill someone. I don't know how I would have done that otherwise. Was I supposed to just let them hit me? Oh, thanks, lads. It's good to be back.
Tell your men to stand down.
No! I am defending Mashaf. Would you not do the same?
You corrupted everything we stand for and lost everything we gained. All of it sacrificed on the altar of your own spite.
And you! You have wasted your life, staring into that apple, dreaming of your own glory.
That is true, Abbas. I learned many things from the apple. Of life and death, of the past and the future. Let me show you.
Oh, the hidden gun.
I can never forgive you, Altair. The lies you told about my family, my father, the humiliation I suffered.
They were not lies, Abbas. I was 10 years old when your father came to see me. He was in tears, begging to be forgiven for betraying my family. Then he cut his own throat. I watched his life ebb away at my feet. I will never forget that image.
No!
But he was not a coward, Abbas. He reclaimed his honor.
I hope there is another life after this one. Then, I will see him and know the truth of his final days. And when it is your time, we will find you. And then, there will be no doubts.
Go in peace. Wow, that's a tough watch. Altair had to return one last time. The keys to Altair's...
An old man.
Yeah.
And still he fought to hold our brotherhood together. I would have called him stubborn in my youth, but now I can only admire his courage. The assassins were his life, from beginning to end. He had no other.
That should be the end of that memory sequence. Possibly. No. Maybe. Oh no. I have to leave. Okay, doke. Let's see the time. But we're at about 45 minutes, so we'll end this one here. I have a sneaky feeling that the next mission, the next memory sequence, will be the last one. So we'll get that up. That means that the series will likely finish in the coming week when you see this episode. So, yeah, that should be about right. So guys, take care of yourselves. Look after yourselves. Thank you for all the support so far. Thank you for joining me on the Assassin's Creed journey. We'll be playing Assassin's Creed 3 soon. Can't wait to do that. That'll be really, really cool. If you are enjoying my content and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. You will find series on there, games that I have played. So far, there's probably about 300 videos up there. Close to 300 videos up there now. There's plenty of content. It covers quite a broad, you know, there's the Medium, Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, there's Resident Evil 4, there's the Assassin's Creed series, there's Final Fantasy 7. There's a lot of stuff on the channel that I'm quite proud of, and I hope to create a lot more for you guys in the coming year. So a wee subscription would be nice. That will keep me going, and like any of the videos that you watch, that would also be really helpful. That helps out the YouTube algorithm. The more people that like it, the more YouTube's likely to put it in front of people, so I really appreciate that. Stick around for some more content. You'll see a video and a playlist come up on the channel just shortly. There will be more Assassin's Creed for you to check out, or there will be a recommended video. Feel free to click on either of them to check out some of my other content as well. And with that, guys, I bid you farewell. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again fairly soon. Bye for now.